there's no secret, right? So most of you know that the tools that we have as digital nomads are not only outdated, but well disconnected from what we do. And I'm here to tell you how all of that is about to change. But first, a little bit about me. So my name is Jordi Llonch, and I was a digital nomad long before I realized it. So after traveling across 50 cities in 3 continents as an airline pilot, I decided I wanted to do something more than just travel. I wanted to build. So 10 years ago, I launched a startup, and we grow it so fast. We got some amazing awards, and I realized that what I really love was working with entrepreneurs. So a couple of years ago, I started working with entrepreneurs to help them not only launch their projects, but also to scale them and to grow them fast. And this is how I get to work with entrepreneurs. So why that matters to you as digital nomads? Well, first of all, I'm a builder. Then, second off, I've worked with hundreds of builders. And, like some of you, I traveled the world. So even though I know all the builders and all the digital nomads, being one digital nomad and being one builder helped me to understand how fun, but also how tedious it can be to become a digital nomad. And even though there are like 50 million of digital nomads in the world, there is still not an app that is built specifically, purpose-built for us to help us do all the things that we need to do. So that's why I'm here today. So I want to share with you a product that we've been working on to make sure that we have a way to connect and to make more business. But before telling you that, some of you might know a couple of apps. So maybe you know, 8 years ago, Peter Levers, he launched Nomad List, a super useful tool that has a list of all the cities that nomads usually go to. And this app grew a lot. It added new features. But the problem is that Peter, he's an entrepreneur, solopreneur. He's launching many, like 6 or 7 startups at the same time. And Nomad List has become, I think, like stale. It added a couple of new features, like some connecting tools and maybe a paywall. You know, as a matter of fact, let's do a quick experiment. How many of you have used Nomad List? Okay. How many of you have paid the annual membership or the lifetime membership? Okay, so maybe half of the people that raised the hand before. And now, the trickiest question. How many of you still use Nomad List? All right, a little bit less, but almost the same people that paid for the membership. So you see, it's a tool that is very useful, but people usually use it only once they travel. They don't stick to it. So what other apps do we as nomads have? So I have a list here of apps that probably most of you have used or that they are using on a daily basis. And I want to give let's make a hypothetical case, right? So we have this young couple. They're traveling into a new city. They're trying to find like-minded people and maybe sit down at a coffee and enjoy some local dishes. So they can join into Instagram to find local places. But Instagram, sometimes, it sucks you into its vortex, and you enter for some reason, and then you don't know how, but time has passed, and you are already changing subject and seeing other things. Because Instagram is not an app for nomads. It's an app, a generic app, built for many things. So they go into Telegram or WhatsApp or Facebook local groups. But how difficult it is to browse through all the old messages that you see on those Telegram groups. I'm sure that most of you are on those, have already silenced those groups when you go to a new place, because it's impossible to keep track. What else? So maybe other things that they can do, which are and one of my favorites are maybe like YouTube or nomad blogs, like Nomadic Mad or Nomadic Girl or Freaking Nomads. But unfortunately, this young couple hasn't found the article of the city they are traveling to, because it's not in that blog. All right, so I want you to picture this. This is not a hypothetical case. So this is Alexander Svetsky. This is the founder of the app that I'm here to show you, which is called Satlantis. So this is what we're trying to do. We are building a directory. We are organizing the world in cities. It's an aggregator. We have hundreds of local ambassadors in every city that are pulling information, local information like quality of the air, quality of the water, cost of living, how much drink cost, all this information. We're pulling it all together. So Satlantis is a database of cities. Satlantis is also a social network. And I don't want to dig deeper into it, but we are using an open source protocol called Nostr that helps you connect with like-minded people. So Satlantis is a directory. Satlantis is a social network. And we're building something even more interesting for you guys, which is creator tools. Most of you like to travel. I heard some nice speeches yesterday. But you have to try to accommodate your cost of living with what you're doing. So we're trying to build like a network to help you grow your business. So why now? Why is now the time to launch this? Well, technology advances. And when I say technology advances, for us, what really matters is, I think it's like the internet speed. I've been talking to some seasoned nomads here at the summit, and they were talking to me like how they were nomading like 10 years ago, with going with the maps, with the city guides. Now it's easy to become a nomad. Anyone, young generations, they will never know how difficult it was to us before, to become a nomad before. Now it's so easy. Anyone can become a nomad because you have all internet in your devices, in your pockets. Remote work. Thanks to COVID, now we learned that we can work remotely. There is an estimate of 600 million remote workers in the world. Out of the 600, 50 are digital nomads. So it means that there is like a long list of people that is already working from home that can just start nomading and living abroad thanks to this new way of working. I don't know if any of you is familiar with the Balaji's network state. So there is a rise of interest of not living always in the same place because you don't have to. Yesterday we heard a great talk from another speaker telling about this topic. What else is going on? Free private cities. There are cities emerging in the world where you don't even have to be part of a government itself, or the emergence of cross-border currencies like Bitcoin that allow you to not have to be tied to one American bank account, a European bank account. What happens if you're a traveler from one country that doesn't allow you to have US dollars? What happens with this money? I know some nomads that had their bank seized because they were trying to move money from this country to another, and then in a couple of months they moved to this other. And the banks, even though you think the money in your bank is yours, sometimes it's not. And there are also the flag theories and the geo-arbitragers, which are growing in demand, like using flags as a service. So if I like staying in this country because he treats me well, I stay here for a while. If they stop treating me well, I go to another country. This is possible now. So this is to me like the perfect storm of why this is now the right moment to become a nomad. And this is why this summit is so important. This is why I encourage you to become digital nomads this 2025. That's why we're building Satlantis. We're building it for nomads, by nomads. Why do I mean by that? Well, we are set to launch our app in a couple months, but I convinced my product team, my CEO, to give you a sneak peek. So this app will be ready soon, but all of you are the first ones to be able to try it. And you can try it on your website, on our website, through satlantis.io. I recommend you doing that with a computer. Or you can download our beta apps, both for Android and iOS. which will be will actually released just today. And the goal of me being here today is not only to present you this product, but to talk to you, to engage with you. I want you to play with it, and I want you to tell me what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Because we are building this app, not for us, but for you. And I would like to dig deeper into the technology that we are using. So I showed you a couple of apps before. I showed you Instagram, Telegram, I showed you YouTube. All these apps are normally free, and when a product is free, it's because you are the product, right? So what we're doing here, what we're building here, is we're building an app on top of an open source decentralized protocol that is called Nostr, that allows you to be the owner of everything you do. If one day our app decides to close, if you no longer like the design, the user interface, or whatever, you can bring everything you've done in this app to any other app that is compatible. So imagine you're an entrepreneur, you're building your audience on, let's say, Instagram, right? So you are one digital nomad bringing your clients from Instagram. And one day, Instagram decides to shut down your account. You're done. You have to start over. Maybe now you have to start a Twitter account and start over from scratch. So we're built on this protocol that everything you do in a Twitter could be brought to an Instagram. All your audience, all your followers. And this is something that we will dig deeper next Wednesday, because one of my friends here, Jan is over there, is running the Nostr Day. So if you're interested in freedom tech, he will run this on Wednesday at 3 p.m. as a side event. I think we have like 5 or 10 more seats available, so make sure that you get your spot. So when you join Satlantis, even though this is the first time that we're releasing it to the public, you'll see that there are already users, maybe a couple of thousand users. And this is because we are built on top of this protocol. And the more you interact with people, the more you will get to know people like you. We use something called the social graph, which means that you will see things from people like you. And I want to stop here, because I could be talking technically a lot about this protocol that is amazing, mind-blowing. But I would like to also invite you to this side event. And feel free to reach out to me over my socials, or Satlantis.io, or our socials of the company as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jordi.
Thank you,
It's amazing to see how technology can empower our community. Everyone, if you're at the front door, please grab a seat, please. Okay. Anyone have any question for Jordi? Please raise your hands. Don't be shy. Yep.
Hey, it was an interesting talk. What about the name? Like, how do you come with that? And I just Googled like Satlantis. There's another one, like an engineer space thing. So how are you gonna compete with that?
Right. So I think I've launched many companies and many products in the last 10 years. And to me, names don't matter at all. What matters is what the product, what the service offers to you. So this is a name that we came up because Satlantis is like Atlantis, like the lost city of, and we as nomads, we're also looking for a new city. And the S at the beginning is because of, it's a joke with Satoshi, which is the creator of Bitcoin. So it's the lost city for Bitcoiners, who are normally people that are nomading around and exchanging in their value by this currency. But again, names don't matter. If you like the product, let's use it.
Any questions?
Over there.
Hi, thank you for your talk. My question is focused on, it's great that we have decentralized of everything in society, but how much can we use this to actually decentralize the most important aspect to which is decentralization of government? Thank you.
So if I understood correctly, you're interested in how we can decentralize governments?
Yeah, because governments, for me, governments were sort of like the tenants and we're the landlords, but it's been flipped on us the last 50 years. Mm-hmm. And we need to proclaim back that sovereignty and the control whatever country we're in. So I can move to another country if my tax system in the UK is really archaic, but that doesn't mean I've got the freedom. It just means I can move from one country to the other. So my question is, how do we actually use this tool, this decentralized technology, which is created by the people, but for the people, not to be manipulated by the government on the people, but to be used by us, and actually say to, for example, in the tax system, the Federal Reserve, all these central banks, that we don't want central banks. We want decentralized banks. So I can use my money in a bank and actually connect it to the crypto. But if it's a central bank, it doesn't matter how much I've got in crypto, that central bank money is not mine.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So let's make an example of the current social networks that we have. All Twitters, Instagrams, all those are companies. Companies are subject to a legislation, a country itself. So anyone with enough power in a government can tell Elon Musk to change what you just posted on Twitter, if what you posted, they don't like it. And this is because there are companies running or abiding the laws of this country. We don't care about that. We're a decentralized platform. We don't care about what any government can tell us because we are not in control. And I don't want to dig deeper too much about the technology part, but everything that you post on Satlantis, it's signed digitally by you, and this is some of the things that Jan will tell on the Nostr day. So nobody can change it. And if somebody changes it, you can see that it has been changed. So it doesn't matter if somebody comes and asks, if any government comes and asks you to change. And regarding the topic that you said about crypto, central banks, this platform, what allows you is to interact peer-to-peer, you to me. So imagine you're a poet, and you write a poem on this social network, and I like your poem. I can zap you directly, value, directly, from me to you. No intermediaries in the middle. No central bank can stop it. They don't even know who we are if we decide to use pseudonyms, and they cannot do anything at all. So by joining to this type of project, what you're doing, it's like you are removing or lowering the power government, central banks can add to you, because they are not in the middle. They are not taking part of it. If you want to learn more or discuss more about that, come to Nostr Day or talk to me later.